person, and you did it wrong, and now she's just going to pick it up. That works? That's how it works. We have to go home. I don't think people realize that. You know what I mean? It's the 1-800 out of California. And they said, so Leslie said, make sure you're ready. Guys, it's like 3 times. Yeah, I just have to go to football. So your shoes, you guys. We're live on Facebook Live. You are going to sleep for an hour. You're going to see it. Now we're live. We're ready. They love when they're Ready, come on down here.
Everybody got something. I know. Gosh, surprised. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay, guys, thank you for attending. I want to give Lee a chance to start the live feed. Lee, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, we're sampling. Mr. Fitzpatrick's back there. He's our communications coordinator, and we are trying a new system, which is a live YouTube feed. So this is our first shot at it, and our tech guys are here. So Mr. Fitzpatrick, I appreciate you doing this. Let me know when you're ready. You ready? Okay. Well, with no further ado, I'd like to welcome all of you to Alpena High School for freshman orientation. I was hoping for 100, and I'm glad to have all you guys. But we'll probably have 300 on live. So it's important to have you guys here. But it really is important for us to share how important it is that our freshmen coming into high school have a great, warm welcome, because we really want to make it awesome for them. I could not believe that freshman orientation yesterday. Guys, ready? Did we have 250? Probably the largest freshman orientation to date that we can remember. It was unbelievable. We truly had the best group leaders that we probably ever had. Hopefully your sons and daughters went home and said, oh my God, it was a great experience. We prepped them a little bit, but we really count on them to be genuine and real with them and share, this is what the experience is like. And this is what Alpena High School is about. And coming off COVID and moving into year 2 and trying to pick up where we left off before COVID, really trying to build that culture, that spirit, the relationship building is so important to all of us. Lee, you'll check mine too moving forward. You're the soul back there. Lee, you'll click too for me? Thank you, sir. So one of the big things we start off with is, and I'll post this on my weekly too, and I'll put it on Facebook so you'll be able to have it, and the live feed will be there as well. But the biggest thing is when you look at what we need to do for you is to get you in connection with your kids' academic records, teachers, and everything right away. Student and parent view are amazing. It started when my daughter was here, and it's only continued to get better and better and better. I mean, students are coming in on a little tour we had on Tuesday night, and they wanted paper copies. I said, no, let's look at your phone, let's look what you have. Let's pull it up on here. One, because we're probably going to change the schedules from Tuesday to Sunday, so I didn't really want to print it off and live by that. But it was really the fact that engage with the knowledge you have. And the one kid says, I don't want my mom and dad to see that. We want your mom and dad to see that. We want you to live on looking at it in fragments, not day by day. Because just like anything else, teachers don't put it in the moment. Furtaz and Lowell, both of them were my students. If I gave you 2 weeks to do it, I had 2 weeks to grade it today. And that still exists today because teachers are grading the same way. And so what we want to do is ensure that you have access to that, but remember, it's a living document, and try to work with your students to work it as a team. If you don't have access to it right now, we will have people up front when we're done here. And following tonight, you can also contact Mrs. Manning in the main office. She's phenomenal about getting those pieces taken care of and doing it. Next slide, Lee. Lee, next slide. Thanks, sir. So, big thing for our kids is, and I see a handful of students that I've had here too, so it's kind of crazy. But the nice thing is, this is a fresh start for your student. Your student gets to come to the high school, and this is the first really big time besides 5th to 6th grade where they start their academic record, and they move on to what they get to call their permanent school record. This is where the grades are going to carry on, they last, they go on a transcript, and it also becomes a live document. It's a good chance for them to start fresh. For some kids, the junior high was a great experience. For others, it was a struggle. They were trying to find themselves, figure out what's going on. And when they get to the 9th grade, to figure out, where do I begin? What's my career goal? What do I want to go into? Meeting with counselors more regularly, not just about crisis situations, but about what's your career field? What are you going to go into? I'm going to introduce these guys here shortly and let them talk as well and share their pieces too that make them so valuable. Not all of them can be here, but they'll share the experience they have in helping your sons and daughters and the supports you put in place. But it really begins with monitoring that and making sure you're keeping track of it. Next slide. There we go. Thanks, Mike. And one of the things we stress is we want to build relationships with kids. I talk a lot, and the other principals, is student voice matters. That this is your school, not our school. We just help guide the ship, but we want students to feel like they have a say in what's going on. And I think for some of the things that happened last year, it was awesome, the ones that would come into my office and just, Jesse said it earlier in the freshman orientation, people just want to talk to me, or talk to them, or talk to the counselors about things we can do to help change and make the building better, and make it real, and really make it so that it's a student-centered facility that they have a say in. So if they don't care for something, they feel that they have the power to be able to talk about it and make it a positive place for them to exist and be part of. So one of the big things we came up with last year was a thing called the Wildcat Way. And you can see the diagram. We pulled it from the 21st Century Graduate, which is the district mission that we look at, is how we want students to move forward. So each week, we pick a new Wildcat Way. We have a Rotary, we have a Rotarian, we have Student of the Week. We're trying to identify students and give them that recognition that they deserve. And it's a wide band of kids. It's not the top kids, it's not the bottom kids, it's everybody, it's the middle. It's trying to recognize students for just being excited to be in school, doing good things. It might just be a fraction of the thing, but let's celebrate that fraction. I try to tell my wife that all the time. A little thing I'm doing well, just celebrate that. It's a little bit that way. And so, but the big thing is we want kids to feel like they belong. Jesse just brought a student in just now to meet with Mr. Fitzpatrick about something about backpacks. And they had just a great conversation. And we empowered them to meet and talk and come up with some restorative measures that he could do to be a better student. It was just pretty awesome. And that's what I think we're trying to create here. And the counselors help with that too. We're working as a team. And we'll talk more about the facility down at E-House, how that all transpires. But when you look forward, some of the things we want students to do is have normalcy. So last year, our big strive was, we were not going to have homecoming. I mean, I'm telling you, I told these guys, I said, we're having it. I don't care what states we have to go to. And then we started seeing COVID numbers rise, and man, what do we do? And somebody said, how do we have an outdoor homecoming? So we took a shot in the dark, we did it. We had nothing but success. The kids had an assembly. We had 2 years of students who had never been at an assembly or looked at hall decorating or saw what it was to be Alumni Hall of Fame, and just some of those opportunities for them to be high school students and really exist in a world where they could be the center of attention. And when you look at some of these pictures right here, from robotics to hall decorating, our king and queen, I show the freshmen up there because they don't understand the power of what the assemblies are like. For anybody that's been at them, you'll understand. It's different than when we were in high school. It is not the same. They are fired up, and the whole week, I mean, we had such a great spirit week. When you look at some of the pictures on Facebook, it was just incredible. So, fortunately for us, the seniors did win. Otherwise, we could have a coup. It was close, but it's a real thing. It's not something that we rig. They have to win it by doing all the activities. And part of that is just choosing to be part of something bigger. And that's one of the things that I stress with students at every one of the meetings is get connected, get involved, because if you're involved and connected, you have ownership in the building. You're not going to rip soap dispensers off. You're not going to take toilet seats. That TikTok last year, that killed me. I thought it was the end of the world when all that stuff was going on. But you want to know something? Our students rose up. They stood up and said, this isn't going to happen. And really, they took charge and made sure. I mean, right, students emailing me, girl in the jean jacket, black dress, she took the soap dispenser. Go over the cameras, found her with the jean jacket and dress, and boom, we got a soap dispenser back that night. So it was really kind of cool. It was good work with parents. But when we come back to like the support avenue, one of the things we look at is how many people we have here to support us. From being an 86 grad myself, and I look at all the staff that come back to teach at Alpena, the supports we have at Alpena are phenomenal. I look around and I think, this is a great place to work. It's a great place for our kids to be educated. And if you're not from here, you can be rest assured you have the best people in front of your kids. It just is really awesome. From counselors, to secretaries, to administrative assistants, to custodians, we just have great people. And so it starts like in my office right there. I have Bridie, if you'd please stand and recognized here. Bridie's my administrative assistant, so she assists me in the main office. She makes sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and in touch with students. She makes sure that I get to see the kids that need to see me, and get to the classrooms that I need to get to, and events. And Julie Manning's a wonderful voice you hear every time you call switchboard. She's like a mother to me. I've been around forever. Actually, I call her mom sometimes. But she is just such a resource and support item for all our parents. She was short the other day, and I think that's the first time that she apologized. She said, don't ever apologize to us for being short. You have never been short the whole time I've ever known you. But even her buttons get pushed once in a while. But you get her, she's real. I pushed to make sure that we went away from the push button to pick your piece. We had a person at the switchboard. I wanted to maintain that personal relationship with the district, and she said, please, that's what I want to do. Barb Ports, our new business clerk, we were able to bring her on this year. It's fantastic, as we're a giant building with a lot of needs. But what we offer in the main office is getting information. One of the things we stress beyond anything else is that she greets people, she gets them on the phone, she gets them where they need to be. She takes care of our 2 secure entrances. So now, and I'll talk about that a little bit later after everybody goes, but we have 2 secure entrances. We have the main office and we have the student entrance, and then you guys came in through the Wildcat. So from now on, as the year goes on, any event we have here other than sports, the only doors that will be open in the building are the front 3, and because they're the front of the building. So if you park in the back, unfortunately, we're not going to have it locked. There won't be anybody there manning the doors to open them. So we always want to come in the front. That's going to be the key. We're going to try to practice that just like with your students. But we're a good place in the main office to go for questions. Parents, you want to come in, she'll buzz you, they'll ask and say, what's your name? And you're coming in because, and she'll ask you those questions. She has to. It's part of what we're doing with the new security measures at the schools. In attendance, you'll reach the wonderful Mrs. Tesmer. She'll be back in October. She'll be gone for some medical issues, and so we're working through it. We have another person, Amanda Clark, who's there as well. And Mrs. Tesmer, just like Mrs. Manning, is your main go-to. But remember this, you don't have to call her. You can go to Parent View and report your absences there. I mean, that one you will get the answer sheet because your phone is going nonstop. And she will get back to you. She will return the phone calls, but they are lengthy. You know, it could be a bit of time. So going through Parent View and doing that is really a great opportunity to use a portal here. Mrs. McCoy is our B-House CTE director. I don't have a lot of slides on CTE, other than it's a great program. We walked down these wings. We did a tour with another group of students that we wanted to connect with earlier in the week. And we showed them the CTE rooms, took them throughout the school. But one of the key things is we have a diamond behind us. We have a welding lab, we have a mechatronics lab, we have a drafting lab, we have a auto lab, we have a tiny house construction, building trades, healthcare, teacher academy, automotive, and they're all area students come in and take the classes as well, but they're job entry careers. It's unbelievable. We just push so many students into these programs because it gives them a trade if they need it. And not everybody's going to college, so we want to push as many students to try and explore those opportunities. Your 9th graders won't explore a ton of those this year because they have to get their pieces done. They have to get their visual performing arts, their PE, they have to get English, math, history, science, they have to get all those pieces, and they do that in the 9th and 10th grades. So they'll hear about it, we'll expose them more to it when we do the scheduling piece after Christmas and into the new year after first semester, and those students will have an opportunity to see that stuff. Your students will mainly be in D-House. That's where most of your lockers are going to be, and this is where PBL and math pathways, Alpena Health Center is lodged in there too. But these are areas where kids, you can see that they're going out to the community and engaging, interacting, doing bigger things and working towards building some skills for the 21st century. Understanding it doesn't happen just in the classroom. You need to expose them to different opportunities from being on the ship to collaborating, working with each other, and taking traditional classes as well. The health center downstairs in D-House houses 2 of our social workers from Alpena Health Center. This has really bridged the gap for some healthcare services. Our counselors work hand in hand with students every day, and when the therapy needs to go to an outside agency where it's beyond what we want to work with one from a school standpoint, they will work with families to connect them. The beauty of this is you don't have to take them out of school to go. You can get the services right here. They're servicing between 5 and 7 clients a day. And they're a resource. They're separate from our counselors. Our counselors are all trained. They run groups. You can see all the services they provide. It's just another adage to the resources we offer. One that I'm really proud of too, because partnering with Alpena Health Center, Peg's right back there. She's one of the clinicians, and she works cohesively and collaboratively with our principals, our dean, the counseling team. It's just been a great partnership, right, Peg? It's been a great partnership, hasn't it? Yeah, we appreciate their services and so forth. So she and Lisa Leonard, Peggy's right back there, her big hand wave. She's right there, and so it's just a great opportunity. So with no further ado, I want to turn it over to Jesse Pattison. He's another one of the principals at the high school, and so he's going to talk a little bit about his work.
Hi everyone, like Mr. Bordeaux said, my name is Jesse Pattison. I'm what would have once been the E-House principal, and last year when we had myself and Mr. Bookinger coming in, we looked at E-House, and we said, why don't we bring everybody together? And one of the things that I love about our area at E-House is we've become almost a hub in the school for student support. And when students were here for freshman orientation yesterday, one thing that I really tried to impress upon them is within the school, we have almost any support that you're going to need. Mr. Bordash talked about Alpena Health, but also within E-House, we have so many great resources. And one of the great resources, Mike, if you want to perfect go over, are our counselors. And Mrs. Vogt is one of them. Mrs. Vogt is the counselor for students with the last names A through E. And then also here tonight is Mary Doust, and she's the counselor for students whose last names end in F through L. Our other two counselors couldn't be here tonight. They're actually on campus, but they're both at sporting events. One has a kid competing in volleyball, and another has a kid who's playing football right now. One thing that I cannot say enough about right now is how hard our counselors have been working to get student schedules ready for school when it starts on Monday. One of the great things about Alpena High School is all the options that we provide for our kids, whether it's PBL, CTE, pathways, traditional classes. With that comes a lot of challenges in getting kids into the classes that they want. And I can't tell you how hard our counselors work to make sure that your kids get the classes that they want. They're here until 4 or 5 o'clock, and I know they're working until 8, 9, maybe even later, trying to get schedules ready for Monday. So I just want to take the time and acknowledge how hard they work. And counselors do more than just scheduling students. When I was in high school, I thought a counselor or a school counselor was what you did to figure out what you wanted to do in life. Our counselors do everything. They provide the counseling and therapy services for our students who might be in crisis or just need someone to talk to. They provide those career and college planning pieces. They do the scheduling, conflict resolution, and they're also a great resource for community resources. So if your kid is struggling with something, needs support, whatever it might be, connect with your child counselor, your student's counselor, and they have resources beyond our school. And that's one of the great things about being able to connect with our hub in E-House, is we have resources both within E-House and outside in our community. And then Mr. Bookinger, if you go back real quick, if you need to get in contact with anybody at E-House or schedule an appointment with your student's counselor, you can, one more back please. You can call Kelly Saya. She's our new administrative assistant in there. She kind of got thrown right into the fire when she got the job a couple weeks ago, and she's been doing a great job. So if you call in, you can talk to her. And another thing that your student can do is they can also go online, and on the counseling corner of the Alpena High School webpage, there's a link where they can go through and fill out a Google form, and they can schedule an appointment with their counselor that way. We'll be reviewing that with them in the first few weeks of school, but that's a really efficient way for your students to be able to get connected with their counselors. Another thing I just wanted to talk about briefly in terms of scheduling, as you're looking through your student schedule, or they're looking through it, and they may notice an error, open period, doubled up hours, or anything like that. Earlier in the week, I sent an email out to all the students, and it included a link to the class change form. Anything that needs to be fixed, they can go on, click on that link, and there's a Google form where they can go through and say exactly what the issue is with their schedule, and then it'll go to us in the counseling office, and we'll go through, and we'll do our best to have it fixed by Monday. If it's not fixed by Monday, we'll send them an email, and we'll let them know when it's all set. Perfect. Another resource that we have is School Success. Brian Robarge is going to be in his first full year. Brian is wonderful with working with families. He also provides a lot of resources for our students. He has our clothing closet, and that's for any student. So if your kid is in school and they spill their milk on them at lunch and they need a new shirt and they can't come in from work, they can go right down to the clothing closet and get a new shirt or pants, or they forget their belt or anything like that. We have those resources down there. And then there's also food pantry, food supplies, and he also does things with peer mediation, conflict resolution, and things like that. And then I can't say enough about E-House. Our registrar, Tracy Shoemaker, she's kind of like my right-hand woman right now, and I can't tell you the amount that she does preparing for the school year. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be in the position that I am without Tracy, and she's not here tonight, unfortunately, but she's just a wonderful resource for us as well. I think that's the end of mine. Perfect. And this is Mr. Bookinger.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Mike Bookier, and I'll be the assistant principal for your child if your last name begins with an A through an L. One of the things that is unique to this year is that traditionally my office was in F house and moved over to E house, as Mr. Patterson had referenced earlier. And the collaboration that occurs between our alphabet is just it's powerful, and it really helps us to do best for kids. And in here, you'll see I have my awesome, amazing administrative assistant, Mrs. Johnson. And over here we have Mrs. Piper, who is our Dean of Students. And she's housed down there in E-House in what we call our Restorative Center. And the Restorative Center is something that is unique to our school. And it's something that when we've talked to folks at trainings around the state in regards to restorative practices, and we tell them our story, they say, wow, you guys are ahead of everybody else. We heard the story earlier about TikTok. And we were in a great training today where the trainer said, there's a phrase that's sometimes directed towards kids these days. What's wrong with these kids? There's nothing wrong with these kids. Rather, it's what do these kids need, right? Because their challenges are different from when we were in high school. When I walked these halls, TikTok didn't exist. And, I also didn't go through a pandemic. And that's one of the pieces about the Restorative Center is that we realize that the students coming into the building every day have a different set of challenges that impact them academically, behaviorally, social, emotional. And the Restorative Center is one of those supports that we can use to help kids stay in the classroom. Because when they're in the classroom, they are going to be successful, okay? And so your child may be a student that has what we call a chill-out pass, and they can come down to the Restorative Center when there's a need. And it's something that there's a plan for, and they come down there and it's a 10-minute visit, and then they go back to class. It is not there for the hour every day, Monday through Friday. It is a 10-minute, hopefully it's once in a great while as needed, just like when you go to the doctor's office. We don't want to go there every day. The other thing about it is that just like the counseling office is that when kids come there, we want to help find the best way to meet their needs. Sometimes it means it's that 10 minutes there. Sometimes when the counselors have a long line during this time of year and at the semester with class changes, we're able to meet with them and say, you know what, you need to meet with Mrs. Doust. We're going to set that appointment up for you, working with Mrs. Saya, and go forward for you. We're also going to coordinate with Mr. Robarge. We have a really cool new support system coming in place, and we're going to call them a behavior tech, where again, they're going to be someone's going to help to address any skills that your child needs to work on in order to be successful in the classroom environment. Because at the end of the day, we want your child to be in the classroom, not the Restorative Center, not at home, unless it's Saturday, and being successful as a student, especially their freshman year. So some of that means we do some re-entry. So if your child does have a disciplinary action, that might mean Mrs. Piper will meet with them, or they will meet with myself or Mr. Patterson. Ms. Piper, is there anything you want to add to that?
So we have obviously a ton of support for your student. The one thing that sometimes kids get overwhelmed with is they don't know who to go to, so they don't go to anybody. So the Restorative Center is kind of a place where if they don't know what help they need, they just know that they need help, we can figure out who's the best fit for whatever their need is. Whether it is, I need clothes, I forgot my deodorant, my dog died last night, my girlfriend broke up with me, I think my teacher is picking on me. Whatever that need is, or they just need a place to kind of regroup, we can match them to wherever it is that they should be in the building. So if they don't know what to do, they should come to the Restorative Center, which is in E-House as well.
So in F-House, we have Mr. Studley, he's our athletic director, and Miss Dorr, Abby Dorr, is his administrative assistant, and as it was said earlier, we have multiple sporting events going on tonight. So if you ever have any concerns about athletics in regards to how do I get my student involved, Mrs. Dorr is the person to talk to, as well as sending Mr. Studley an email or a phone call. One of the things that he is doing this year that is just, it's again unique to Alpena, and it's something that I really applaud him for his vision, is creating a championship culture. And you see this textbook up here, I guess it's more of like a novel than a textbook. But one of the things that he has observed is that on our teams, we pick captains, right? And sometimes that means that student is your go-to person because they show up every day to practice, they're leading the drills, they're doing, they're showing up on time and really being a good worker, right? But there's no coaching on what does it mean to be a captain? How do I pull my team up? Because it needs to be more than just telling your teammate to run faster and be stronger and play harder. So some of the pieces that he wants to bring in is some coaching for our students. There were 44 students here involved last 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And it's going to be ongoing throughout the year with this book as they do a book study and really learn to be better leaders. So, and Romeo, if you go to the next slide, we can talk about some of these core values that as an athletic department, they determined that character, commitment, relationship, results, and positivity were their core values. And you can see directly across from those terms are how we can identify that in our students. So integrity, consistency, respect, positive role model, improvement, and encouragement. And one of the best things about this is the trickle down effect. This starts in the classroom, goes to the field, and then it's going to come back to our classroom, from 7:30 to 2:30. So, we're really excited about what Mr. Sedley is bringing to the athletic department and its future.
And he's really excited about the kids. We were at the leadership conference. We did the leadership piece with the athletes, and then we were there with the coaches. And I think what he's doing is really trying to build that up and saying, we need a weight room. We have a weight room. We need to be credible. We need to show that it's not about wins and losses. It's about who all wears the A. And whether it's band, who's getting ready to go on the field right now because it's raining, so they need to practice in the hallways. And how do you share the stadium? How do you share the practice field? How do you go show up to support everybody all the way around? Our school spirit here has been growing and growing every year. Tonight, it's a red, white, and blue. So everybody, they're getting themes. Volleyball had probably 50 people at it, and they're ready to go to the football game. It's that kind of stuff that we want to build with your freshmen. Even if they're not playing sports, you get involved with organizations too. And Mr. Stumley's doing a really good job of trying to bring that together. The next one is credible leaders are mission focused, not me focused, and that's what he's pushing. I've been in 3 meetings the last 2 days with parents, and that's what the push has been. It's been really powerful to know that he's putting that on the students and the athletes, and saying you're student athletes and students first. One of the big pushes, he raised the GPA to 2.0 because he didn't believe 1.6 was sufficient, and really is going to nail down our coaches to say your kids have to be in school by second hour through the end of the day, and if you're departing at 2 o'clock does not mean you leave at 11. You go home and get your lunch and get your stuff. You need to stay till you're departed because being in the classroom has value. And that's part of that commitment that he's pushing with the captains and with the leaders. And it's exciting because that's what we need. To grow, we have to have that type of commitment from everybody all the way around. Andrea, why don't you come on down here? You popped away from volleyball. We can introduce you. We had your picture up there. But Andrea was keeping score at the volleyball game. So she's one of our other counselors with Lori and Mary. And then, like you said, Robin's at the football field getting soaked, watching her son play. So we put family first. And so Andrea Linton, one of our newest counselors. So our Mary and Lori are bringing her along and showing her the ways and doing a great job. Jesse already praised you and the whole team. So looking at our programs, you can see each way we're matched up for the Title IX pieces where we have the 10-10, and we want students to get involved. If your students are even thinking, try to push them to do something. Be involved. If not, we can find some team that they can get involved in. I told the story to the kids yesterday. I said, I ran cross country and I can remember Coach Bennett riding in a golf cart behind me saying, Renaj, they're going to shut the clock off. You are so slow. I said, Coach, I'm doing the best I can. They're really going to shut it off. But I was doing it because I was getting ready for basketball. I was not running 22s. Trust me. And so it's an experience. But everybody has an opportunity to get involved in something. Clubs, organization, film club, ski club, exchange club. There's opportunities. There's a ton in our course selection, in our handbook, that are not active that we can get active. You know, right now, Zonta is looking at doing a Juniors Honors Club. They submitted the information to get that and get kids involved, and so it's really exciting. It's getting kids to see that commitment, but we have to get back to our communities. Mr. Studley is also in charge of the testing, and so you'll see information come out in my weeklies. Our first big one coming up is a PSAT. That's typically for our 11th grade students, strong students, and our strong 10th grade. It's an opportunity for them to come in and really take a practice test at that and get ready for it. This is where your national merit semifinalists come from. This is where we push our students to say, let's do the best, let's be the best, and take those. Take that opportunity. That's another opportunity to get ideas of where you want to go in the future. The biggest piece is watching the weekly, paying attention to those highlights, and understanding that you got to do. There's more to it than just that. We have testing week in April, and that's a huge event that will broadcast all over the place, but PSAT is our first one coming up. Next up, we have another support system, and I try to keep these all lined up in the areas where they are. Up North Prevention is a program that we kicked off with last year, and it was super successful. The irony is our old SRO officer, Officer Spencer, who retired, jumped on board with Up North Prevention, and he was in the schools probably 2 or 3 days a week, and he was helping us with prevention opportunities for kids, resources. We were seeing huge opportunities to try to help kids find alternatives to drugs, alcohol, vaping. Instead of sending them home for 3 days, we're doing cessation classes. We're pulling them in. He's meeting with them for 3 hours at a time in groups, and really working with them on how dangerous this vaping are, because we just don't know. And so he's done a phenomenal job. We've captured some opportunity to have him be here even more next year, or this year. So he's going to have a place in the building, be with us probably 4 to 5 days a week. And so he's going to be there to help your sons and daughters. The cool thing is, like our counselors, he's there as a resource. He's in the large commons. He's visiting with kids. He's another adult in the building that kids can connect with. It's pretty cool. Next up, our media center. You'll go by there and you're going to see a lot of stuff gone. We're in the midst right now of partnering with Alpena, Alpena Area Credit Union, and creating a student union. Unfortunately, with the construction pieces and everything else, we're behind. We'd hoped to have it done at the end of last year. Bids went out yesterday. You're going to see a whole renovation, so stay tuned. It's open for kids right now, but it's going to be different than the media centers we think of. It's going to be like a student union where kids can be. We have a lot of students that are online right now during the day, and we need to have a place for them. And this is a place where they can go sit and work. I'll walk them before it, bring the lunch in. There's no carpet, we're tearing the carpet out, so we don't have to worry about spilling things on the floor. I mean, they have to be careful, of course, and respect it. But it's going to be a place where it's student-centered, and I can't take the doors off. I tried to figure out how to take the doors off, but they won't let me. Because I thought that openness where kids can just come and go and be there would have been awesome. There'll still be the media center will be in there. It'll be much smaller. There will be a financial literacy center as well. So Alpena Area Alpena Credit Union are partnering with us to provide that service to the classes, which is going to be an outstanding opportunity. And you'll see on the next slide right there, I mean, all those pieces. We have a Wildcat branch. You go in, it's just like a bank. The kids are, they're offering free opportunities to come in and get debit cards, bank cards, credit cards, pushing parents to get involved in those pieces, and trying to set up that credit history that students need to start understanding how important it is to get your footprint early and not be foolish about what you're doing. We can cash checks, we can pull money out ourselves. ATM, I saw 3 teachers today go to the ATM and pull money out. It's just an opportunity. It's really been a good partnership, and they agreed to help with that project and do it. We have Allison, Jukin, and then we have Will Schultz and Evan Goff, who are the workers. So they work this summer at the credit union, and they actually run it during 4th hour. So it's pretty cool. Good opportunity. Another great partner we have is the YVC, the Youth Volunteer Corps. They're going to assist us this year with some restorative measures and working with students. Instead of sending them home, where there's no supervision, we're going to work to get them to connect in the community, working with YVC. So they may very well be with our behavior tech, our dean, our principals, myself, in a room working, getting the work done, and then they may be stepping out in the community to do projects. and learn. If they do something, we're going to try to tie it in with a piece that they've done harm with in the school or within the school community, and try to show how do we get back. We're really hoping to connect with that YVC. It's a boys club, girls club connection, and it's yet another group of adult resources to help our kids, man. It's pretty awesome. Emil Flesh and Kat have really stepped up and said, we're willing to do this. They're going to help us with our lunch detention. Again, engaging them in community-minded service versus just sitting there for a half hour. Just trying to educate and get them to be in a different place. We have Advise Michigan too. You've seen Mr. Fitzpatrick's been advertising this relentlessly, hoping for somebody to come in. It's a great piece. They work with ACEs in the high school to work on college connection, that direct connection. Typically, it's a student who graduated from school. Last year, we have Raina Decker, who just graduated. She comes in, works for a year, helps with FAFSA, helps with direct connection, and she works with our ACEs community too. So we're looking for that. If you have somebody that's interested, we're still accepting apps, aren't we, Lee? And then secure entry points and all those pieces I have to talk about. So this building has 86 doors throughout the building, and a lot of glass, a lot of windows, a lot of glass, a lot of windows, and a lot of doors. And we're narrowed down to 2 entry points during the school day now. So we have 2 different spots that we'll utilize. And if you look on here, I tried to use arrows. You can see the big green arrows where you guys enter. Anytime there's an after-school activity, that's where we're going to enter. Otherwise, students will come in the back oval, where the first red arrow is, on the back, and then the front, which is to the right of where you enter. Mr. Fitzpatrick helped me this summer come up with big signs for secure entry that are very difficult not to see when you come to the door. And we're really working on our students to understand that this is a safety measure. This is just something we're working on to make sure a better place, safer place for your students, for our staff, for all stakeholders that are in the building, and it's important. Then you'll see where do we drop off and pick up our kids? This place is a mess. Okay, are we in the front, are we in the back? We have people who didn't go to school here, and they say, why is the back the front, the front's the back? And why are there so many cars? They have these ovals, you can't get in, you're here 2 minutes before the bus, you are out of luck. You get trapped in here by the bus, you are not coming out for like a week. I stay out of the parking lot myself and the students because we have to wait for the buses. Our SRR goes out there once in a while, but the kids have it right down pat. But I'm telling you, where do you pick your kids up and drop off? This is my best advice for anybody dropping or picking their kids up. If you get here before 7 o'clock, before the rush to Thunder Bay, you can get in the back oval and drop your son or daughter off. I see them, I greet kids, that's my area that I greet every morning, and it's awesome. I love saying hi to them. Parents, they're waving through the window. It's very nice, it's a great morning opportunity. However, after school, it is almost impossible to get in there and pick them up, and if you wait, they sit and wait and wait and wait. What I would do is the blue arrows go to Garden Street. That's the safest place to park. If you park on the right-hand side, the school side of the street, not the opposite side, your sons and daughters don't have to cross the street. They go right to your car. Even if you have to go around the block and come back to Ontario, your son or daughter will know that's where you're picking them up. They walk out of any of those house entrances that I have the arrows to, and it's the safest place to do it. They've got to walk a little ways, but it's not very far. But it's the safest, seriously. And on that side of the street, I cannot believe how many kids cross the street. We're going, especially we got to go to meetings like at 2:30, and we come across, there's 20 cars on the right-hand side. The last one was closest to the driveway as the bus came in, and the bus took the mirror off the car. The bus swings in, meaning the back end comes around, caught the mirror. It was the second time. I don't think I would have parked there the second time. The bus is long, and they come in and they're on a big route. So that is the safest. If you don't have kids here, that's the safest place to be, guys, seriously. So secure entrance. How do we get in the building? I tried to put this as clear as I could. So student morning entry, we're going to change their patterns after day 1 because they come in all over the place. So the superintendent said, every entry point kids come in at, we've got to have an adult. So we only have so many adults in the morning because teachers are getting ready for class, we have meetings, and we can station about 4 to 5 entry points where we can ensure we see students. So day 1, they're going to come in, everything's going to be cool. Day 2, I'm going to tell them where they have to come in. It's simple because it's pretty much where they come in minus about 3 spots. So they'll come in between E and D, which is by the large commons, and I'll have masks there and hand sanitizer and everything for them every day. It'll all be replenished. They'll come in, it's the door right by the corner of the commons and the large commons. It's got student entrance right there. It's the big door that most everybody comes in. And then the 3 entry points here, minus the secure entry, which I'm going to keep locked, because I'd rather they know that that's their secure entry point where they come in. So that is how they can enter. And day 2, that's where we'll start. We'll use those. It's going to be easy. It won't be that big of a deal, but it's just changing routines for some of the kids. So our upperclassmen will come in and say, why can't we come in D-House? It's only a little bit further, and plus it provides us to be able to see kids coming in. We can monitor what they have, what they don't have, and that's the big point of it. As I said, other opportunity to do every measure we can to be secure. After school, kids go out every door. The exit doesn't matter. That's the nice thing about this building. We did the active shooter training today with the state police for all the AMAs, so it's everybody from all the districts. And part of it was the nice thing about the high school. There's a lot of doors, but it's a good exit point. So it gives a lot of leading opportunities for kids in that sense. Bad too for skipping and whatnot if they choose to go up those doors. But the big thing is we just don't have a lot of skippers. Since we closed campus, we just don't have a lot. They want to be here, so that's cool. So for sports and gyms, for sports activities, that's open over by the flagpole and by the pool entrance. Very, very simple. And again, the biggest thing we have to really get into are the routines for our kids. Don't let people in the building. So today, my staff says, so I wasn't supposed to let Lori in. No, we recognize staff. I know who she is. I'm going to let her in. If I see a Hunt undercover officer come up to the door with a badge, I know to let him in. Years ago, when I was in E-House, Hunt had to come to the building, and one of the students says, "I can't let you in. You can go see Mr. Bernage. His window's right over there. I can't let you in." Literally, and I remember I used that example, but now they're just opening the doors, letting anybody in. We can't do that, and so I'm going to stress that with kids. So if they come home and you hear that, say we can't. We need to really be mindful of that, and we need to get into a routine. So the start of the year will be a big push for us to do that. And really, we're going to secure some of those doors, not with chains or anything, but we'll put exit doors that we don't use. We'll put exit alarms on so if they open, we know they went off. And we can at least have some sense of security with that. But that story's true about that one too. So we just have to do it. The entries and the doors, we know visitors have to check in. They have to go on the back oval, so if you're coming there, student entry is in the front, visitor entry is in the back. We don't have a vestibule, but what we have is a great secure entry point. So that's where you come if you're coming for a meeting or whatnot, you'll come to the back oval. And you'll be able to see that in the pictures. You see the wonderful signs Mr. Fitzpatrick came up for me and helped. I don't think you miss it, except it is quite comical as Mrs. Manning's watching students come up. You get down and put your button and say, "Mrs. Manning, can I come in?" Just open the door. You hear the buzz, so they're getting used to it. It's kind of funny, but they push the button and she lets them in. She'll get to know the students, but she may ask them and say, "What's your name?" "My name's Mike Furtalking." "Come in, Mike, thank you." And we know students will go right to class or go to where they need to be. Adults coming in the next entry is this one. You can see the green arrow pointing up as our camera. She sees who it is. She asks, "Your name's Mike Bookier. What's your reason for being here?" "My son Romeo is a horrible student and I have to come in and see him because he is in trouble again." And so then he comes in, I have a nice little gateway, it says, "Welcome to the main office," and you sign in. So if Mike didn't show up to that office in a minute, she is going to call our SRO, or she's going to call one of the principals to say, "We got a rogue guy in the building, let's find him." And that happens. People come in and they just go where they want to go. The counselors have appointments coming in probably daily with parents. They have to meander through the school, so they have to register with us. And you'll see the signs. Press the button to the left. You see my arrow on the bottom, I made that. And then please state your name, and so it's really clear. But people will get used to it. It is different, but it's part of where we're at today. Like Trooper Mitchell said today, it's sad that we're here, but we have to do it for our students. And for our staff too. It's all stakeholders in the building. We have to protect everybody. And then welcome to our new SRO, Adam David, who was here for 2 years. He left, he moved to Alabama on us. And so Mr. Officer Culligan was at the college. They have a shortage of police officers right now, so we're really fortunate they're helping us and making sure we have somebody. So he's going to be in the building. He'll be in uniform for 2 weeks, and then we pushed last year to go to casual to civilian clothes because he's more approachable to kids. Jason came here and subbed a couple times last year, but again, he's a resource to families, to kids. Kids come to him and say tons of things. and he'll have a good connection with your sons and daughters. I'm confident that they work directly with us. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. We're always there to make sure we're overseeing everything, but we really have appreciated our connection with law enforcement in this community. Again, build a relationship with kids, with families, with staff, and everything like that. Breakfast and lunch, Brady wanted to make sure I reminded you, this year there's not free lunch for everyone. And I'll tell you, did I hear it from the students? They said, no more free lunch. Guys, they took full advantage of this. It was outstanding. But we're back to the free and reduced lunch. So if you think, or even think you need free or reduced lunch, please fill out the forms. You would be surprised at qualification. Kids love it. It's easy. We have great food, and the forms will be out there. If in fact you have trouble getting registered, we will have somebody here during open house, and you can always call food service if you want, if you need help. But we'll have somebody here on the 13th for open house. But please pick up a form, get it filled out. Even if you think you might qualify, fill it out. I think I'm gonna try this year. Let's see how fast I go. Because we love lunch here. I mean, that's one of the best things. Our soup and salad bar, our lunch lines are loaded. Our kids enjoy the food. And since we have a closed campus now, many of you that were here, it was open, it's closed now, and it's just not gonna open back up. And we're at a point in time where that just can't happen. Next up, we did do, as you came in, if you would have seen it, our band kids were in our new courtyard. We pulled out a couple trees that needed to come down, and I had them bring in, I thought it was going to be pea gravel. We decided to gravel because it could slip more in the pea gravel, and it's going to be tiled after our bond issues are done. But that's our newest courtyard right up there. It sounds like an oxymoron. You have a closed campus, you have a secure area, but yet you're going to let kids go outside in two areas. Prior to COVID, the front oval was like mayhem. I mean, we had a hard time keeping kids inside. And with this issue right now, they can only go to two areas. You'll see the blue areas that I've highlighted on there. That's a new courtyard I have. So we'll have an adult station at that door that will make sure they're coming in that door only. I'm not putting up barricades where they can't get out. I'm gonna do something kind of unique. I'm hoping it works. But it'll only be open during lunch because I'll tell you, the students love being out there. The counselors will tell you their area between E and D, where their offices are, the kids are out there, and it is kind of crazy at lunch. We do shut our windows. Because they're getting rid of some energy, man. They need to get outside. They'll get outside in the spring, which is bad because of money, but we want them to be outside as much as we can. We gotta remind them that we have to be in this area. We can't move about. So that's one of the big things. So you can see we have the big X. That's the front oval. They can't go there. They can't be in that area. They can only be in the other two areas, and they can't wander. Before, it used to be if you look at the sidewalk, that was the circumference of where they could go. It was cool. Kids walked it all the time, and they enjoyed it. But we're at a point now where we can't do that. One, we don't have the personnel to be able to monitor it. We have 2 security people, and that's it. We don't even monitor the parking lot very much, other than I've got periodically a person that goes out, but we don't have to like we used to in the past. So the lunch and secure areas, that's the most important thing that I really have to just stress. Please make sure that you talk to your kids about that. The daily schedule, very, very simple. Nothing changed from last year except for that 7th hour. All we had to do was put a number on advisory. So everything shifted down. Times didn't change. Lunch, even though it says 5th hour, it's really the same time, just a different number because advisory used to be in 3rd where you see the word. We had to put a number on it because of people counting. Then, no further ado, I want to give Stephanie Couture the microphone for a bit to talk about Kaput, which is like our pack. So elementaries have packs. We have Kaput, which is Kids and Parents United. It's been around. She'll give you the rundown on it, but it's a great organization. You'll see some photos. We did some great things last year. Here you go, Steph.
Thanks, Romeo. Yeah, I'm Stephanie Couture. I've been with Kaput PAC. I recognized a few of you, but Kids and Parents United started in the 1990s to give kids a safe place to do something after school. So we do things like activity nights, and we help with, last year we joined with leadership to help with homecoming to pull it off since we did it outside, which was a lot of fun, by the way. And we do 2 or 3 activity nights through the year. We help with the senior lock-in, the after prom. So we're funded totally by the Youth and Rec. So when you guys vote for the Youth and Rec, you're voting to help put some money. So with each event, we have a budget. So we try to stay within the budget, and then that's when we ask for some parent help with food donations, volunteer, setup, cleanup, lots of little things. You can come to the meetings, like Romeo has up here. It's going to be the second Monday of every month at 6 o'clock. Enter those front doors, of course. And come show up. We don't, honestly, it can be as little or as much as you want. And sometimes it's just a matter of doing a food donation. Sometimes we just need ideas, because the more people, the easier it is to ping ideas off of, and you just kind of get like going on things and have fun. But this is my last child's senior year, so I'm kind of hoping we can evolve like a nice freshman group to kind of start taking over some of this. I see some smiling faces I might have already hinted to. But so please show up to the meetings. Like I said, we're not gonna hold you down to stuff. I will contact you. Romeo will put things in his weekly newsletter. He'll put in there a reminder about the meeting, if we need help with something, what we need help with. Go to Facebook page, Alpena High School Kaput. Like the page, I will post as much on there as I possibly can to keep you guys updated. Now, if your kids say, I don't want you helping out with that, show up anyways. You don't have to be at the event. I can guarantee it. If your kids really don't want you at the event to like chaperone, you do not have to be there. But just simple things to help it keep going, and less hands make easy work. So, and I do have to add, the staff here is amazing at helping. We had to pull some stuff like out of our sleeve, like rabbit coming out of a hat last year, because we had to switch gears, but we put together a donut day for the whole school last year. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. Romeo, I'm like, hey, how about doing this little thing? Romeo, no, let's do it for the whole school. Like, the whole school, Rome? Like in 3 days? Sure, we can do it. We did it. But it took the whole staff, Romeo, everybody behind it. It was fantastic. The kids loved it. They got out of school for a little bit, smiles on their faces, but like I said, show up, come give us some good ideas. We need some fresh stuff, and we would love to have you. So, thank you.
Yeah, you can see right there the cops and the donuts. And it literally was. I've never seen so many donuts in my life. And they all came in. Poor Doug Brewski had just started Cops and Donuts, and literally had to make 2 trips to Gaylord to get the dough. And then he's going, I'm really not sure I can make that many in one day. It was truly amazing. We did hot cocoa, hot cinnamon, or apple cider for the kids, and everybody got out. How long did we do it for? We did it for 5 and 6 hours? No. Yeah, but it was a lengthy period of time, because and the students appreciated it so much. And when I called Youth and Rec and I said, can I do it? Yeah, go ahead. Because we didn't do some of the activities, and so we had money, and I said, they're going to deserve it, they're going to like this, and they loved it. And it was just such a cool thing to see all the people in the community come and help. And again, the students were so respectful. I mean, it was thank you. And it was like holiday cheer, and it was pretty cool. For those that were here, I mean, and you can see we did the cops, we got all the cops in there. We went national on Cops and Donuts, and so we were broadcast live, and it was pretty cool. You can see like homecoming right there. I didn't put Lee in front of the fire, but Lee was in front of the fire and it looked magnetic. I mean, the biggest bonfire, literally was the biggest bonfire I think that's been held in Alpena. We had just enough pallets, and the firemen were there, and it was good. I overplanned for senior lock-in because, of course, the sun didn't set soon enough, and therefore we didn't have long enough to burn. And you might have seen, anybody want any pellets? Please pick them up. I have way too many, but the kids loved it. They were outside, they were inside. It was super cool. We'll be inside this year for homecoming. I think that's what the kids want to do that. They want that traditional homecoming, but we got something pretty cool that I want to share with Kaput that the principals came up with. I had a great idea, so I'm excited about that. But you can see Carlson's, if you go back a little bit, you can see the treat bar right there. Annette Carlson, her husband, refilled that thing 5 times. I've never seen so many homemade treats, and those kids loved them. I think I didn't put a picture of it, but she made a special s'mores thing, because of course, trust me, you were not doing s'mores in that fire, people. The firemen melted one of their fire sticks, their pokers, melted. And they were in full gears around us doing that. And so there was no doing that. So she made tiki lamps and had that all set up on huge tables so kids could roast marshmallows. And they donated all that. It was unbelievable. It was really kind of cool. And the weather, we couldn't have asked for a better weather. And I said, we're having homecoming. Okay, so questions. I talked a lot. I kept it under an hour.
Yes.
Go ahead, Fatah.
So, clarification.
Shoot.
You said if you beat the buses in the morning, drop it off the back oval, but the entrance is in the front.
The entrance in the front. But I get here at about 6:15 to 6:30. There's kids already coming to the building.
Okay.
At 6:45, the traffic starts in the back. And it is, I'm telling you, it snakes. I have no idea how they get out. If they're going to 3rd Street with Thunder Bay, I remember when I used to drop my daughter for Thunder Bay. Do you guys remember that? You were fighting for your life. If you missed it by 3 minutes, you were done for an hour. You're late for work.
They're going to walk around the back oval, walk around the building, go in front?
Yep. So no, they can come in the secure entrance because I have that open.
Okay.
So the back oval's open to drop off. We don't lock it.
Okay.
It'll be open in the morning. We'll lock it at 7:32.
Okay.
Yep.
What time does it open though?
My custodians are here at 5:30, so they open doors at 5:30.
Oh.
Yep. And once we go to the secure, the staff comes in different entrances than that, but all the doors are open 5:30ish. Buses drop off in the front, and so it starts at about probably by E-House and snakes all the way through, and they release at about 7:10. So we have a regular flow of students in from 10 to 7 to 7:20, and they have plenty of time to get breakfast. One of the things I didn't put a lot in there about the backpacks, but the big thing is we had a ton of kids come in on Tuesday. It worked perfectly. We got almost every locker open. I did 70 the day before. My fingers are numb, people. I had a hard time when I was a student doing it, but I figured it out.
Do we come in the front? Would we come in for that kind of stuff?
Yep. So Saturday from 10 to 2, I'll have the front secure entry open, and I'll have a student greeting you there because I'm going to have leadership. They're going to do some volunteer hours, or one of the groups are going to help me. Because I was overcome on Tuesday. It was me, Lee, and the superintendent. I had my wife, thank God. And I called Mike at around 10 for 6 and said, I need help. I mean, it was packed. Kids were coming in. They thought it was an open house. But I said, Lee and I said when we did this, when we moved to the backpacks, we got to give them time to do it. So I said, let's do Saturday, and so I got to find somebody to help because Lee's got a volleyball game. So anyhow, we can come in, they can try it, they can walk around, and they can fit everything in. They can fit everything in. You really can. I use my locker all the time. I got out everywhere. I mean, you can't travel between E and F anymore, but our teachers, one of the big concerns was, they're going to get tardies right away. Our teachers are very, very good. And they're not a tail of the hunts. And they're going to do a very, very nice job. So we're going to be great, and I think it'll all work out, and I think we have every con figured out. Cool. Counselors, do you guys have anything you want to share? Thank you, Laura.
We're just really excited to welcome the 9th graders. We love the energy, we love the enthusiasm of 9th graders. Throughout the year, we'll be asking them challenging questions. One of our main goals is to have students take responsibility for their own learning so that they can not just be passive learners, but really get involved, as Mr. Bradash was saying, and increase their own agency and their own involvement in their own learning. So call us anytime, we're here to assist, and we hope to meet many of you. And some of you I know I may have had as students a few years ago, so great to see you all out tonight. Mary? Mary's good? Okay, so thanks.
All right, thanks, Laura. Yeah, and any other questions, guys? Thanks. All right, well, I appreciate you being here. Feel free to, the volleyball game still might be going on. The football game's happening right now, so the rain probably deterred a handful of people because it was torrential. But hopefully it stopped by now. And again, athletics too, they do have a sports pass for your students. I want to say it's like $35. I think it's like $35. It's probably the best $35. Stanley always says I'm the best babysitter for $35. Because kids can go to all events, and it really makes it nice. They're not $5 and you death sale. Any $5, any $5. And they come to events. It's like golf. If you have a membership, you'll go for it. If you have the tickets, you'll go. So you can do that through the athletic office, and you can do it through school pay, and it's pretty simple. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your attention, and we're excited. Like Lori said, we're excited. Seriously, I can't wait for Monday. It's like it's Super Bowl. You prep for everything, and then I just said we just need kids in the building. All right, guys, thank you. Lee, thanks for videotaping, and it's good seeing you all.
Are